It is.
but I can catch them faster than me being in the game. That the game glitches, and then I end up walking into literally 5 Pokemon, one right after another, because there's no difference in the color scheme between the grass and the actual Pokemon itself, because it's so goddamn small. It's like
I would.
you've entered a battle with what? An ant? How who? It's tiny. I can't see the ant.
It's very that. However, you gotta understand, we are not at a 900. We're like about at a thousand.
So like
It's pretty much is it's what it is because I already got spoiled from like the DLC content because
so
Facebook.
I actually
Yeah,
got like a quick question, because I started
go
looking
ahead.
at the thing that you sent me, and then I went on the PlayStation, not PlayStation, Nintendo store,
X. Hmm.
and then it showed these terror masks. I'm like, what are the terror masks? What? I haven't played the game in a couple months, so I'm like,
Not the Nintendo. Oh my god. Okay, so
I didn't I
let's
didn't buy
let's
it,
do
but it's
hold on.
like,
Let's do the three, two, one, and action. Okay, so let's talk about the Pokemon thing, right? Because that's like majority of what we need to talk about, and that's like the main thing. We're going to the Teal Mask. That's the name of the first part of the DLC because Pokemon has began naming their DLCs around like a focus point on the narrative that they want to introduce.
uh,
So the Teal Mask is all around this new Pokemon called Ogerpon, who we have no data on until Wednesday, as of the time of the recording, which is what's today, September
the
10th. We're
so
3 days
today's
away from
the
it.
13th. Okay.
Yes, we're 3 days away from it. Ogerpon is like the legendary slash mythical Pokemon that we're gonna to be focusing on
Uh huh.
for this part of the DLC. The second part of the DLC comes, I believe, November or like maybe December, because they're planning it as like that part of the at the end of the year. DLC is $30. I got it the day of the announcement because that's how that's how me and Pokemon rock with. However, the thing is, it's very based around the narrative and the folklore tale of like Momotaro, the Peach Boy, because it's the little boy, the dog, the pheasant, and then the monkey who go out. It's a very like pro Japan type of narrative and
Mm.
story. And so it's kind of like one of those like narratives that they carry around. The game, albeit from what it's been in like mechanic wise and gameplays wise, they're offering us that. Ogerpon is the main focus, and then we have the three guardian Pokemon, which they all have a derivation of saying yes to something. We have Okidogi, Pheasantipity, and Monkey Dory. They like
Monkey
the
D.
name
Luffy.
basically Monkey D. Luffy, who is Poison Psychic, Poison Fairy, and then Poison Fighting, respectively. Like the dog is Poison Fighting, the bird is Poison Fairy, and then the monkey is Poison Psychic, according to the data. That's what we have to address right now. A lot of it got leaked about 2 weeks before the DLC got handled because data miners are a thing, and it's both a blessing and a curse.
Hey,
Because sometimes data miners are good, but some other times it says, "Babe, why? Like,
yeah, no.
did we
So
really need to have all this?" But it
yeah,
is what
no.
it is.
So speaking of like data miners and whatnot, I remember when Crash Team Racing, when they redid it for the P4. I remember
Hmm.
I think it was like 2 weeks before the next character dropped. Data miners were out looking, and then they found, and then they're like, "This is the next character that's coming out." We're like, "Man, I don't believe you." 2 weeks later, oh, they was right. You was right. Okay.
You
Um,
was right.
yeah. So, like, just looking at yeah. So I'm kind of confused why the well, obviously it's gonna be explained in the narrative, but like
Hmm.
terror masks. So Now, are terraforms kind of, are they trying to phase that out?
I think
Or
it's like an add-on. Like if I'm going to be very honest, and from what I've gathered from the intel that I really tried to like be separate from it. I haven't even been using my personal Twitter for like the Pokemon news where I see a lot of things because they're just everywhere. But turns out I got spoiled on Facebook. Apparently, the Terra Mask are going to be a specific add-on for the four Pokemons are going to be introduced, or Ogerpon, Monkidori, Okidogi, and Passindipity, like as an added bonus thing that only they can do.
hold on.
Is it to add dual typings? I do not know.
So
Do I particularly like it a lot? If I'm going to be very honest, out of the four game gimmicks that we've had on the last four games, this is the weakest
oh yeah, yeah.
by far.
So
By far, this is kind of like the weakest. Lore wise, and I'll tell you, like this is very specific to me because I like the overarching lore in Pokemon, and I like the overarching, like, if you're going to introduce it, make it make sense at least somewhat.
yeah.
um they, to this point at the game, because obviously we're going to be focusing on that on the DLC, have not thoroughly explained why, for what, or what happened with the
Mm,
terrestrialized phenomenon. And
mm,
I believe that is a weakness that they're presenting. And it's very 50-50 on it because, for one part, the main narrative of the Paldea game in Scarlet and Violet,
mm-hmm,
it's the strongest that we've seen in a minute.
mm-hmm.
Because the overarching narrative and everything, and like the make your own story and have your treasure and friends along the way, it's very tried and true, but it's really good. However, you're telling me that with this DLC, we don't get the explanation. We get it on the second one, which is where we get Terrapagos, which is the legendary Pokemon in charge of the terrestrializing phenomenon. It's like you
Yeah.
couldn't
So
explain a little
so
bit
so
more.
that's something that like kind of it bugs me, but like we've talked this definitely before, where it's like you could have done so much more, but yet you refuse to do so much more. You refuse to let the food cook a little bit longer, per
Mm,
se.
hmm
Like you gave us food, right? But like you gave it raw. It's still talking back to you. So I feel like with you saying the DLC is in two parts, like I knew it was going to come out in like multiple segments, but like to me that kind of worries me. It's like, okay, cool. The first part is in a month, and then the next one's like in a month and a half. So it's again kind of weird. So like, am I gonna have to pay another $30? Okay, okay, cool. Um,
The that's the one thing that I'm gonna give them. They're like slight, like, I see you, nicely done. It's like you pay it once and you get both. Like that's
okay,
it. That's
no,
all you get,
that's
really.
good. That's
Like
good.
you pay the $30. All right, cool. Here you go. You got access to the two DLCs as soon as they drop, and that's basically that. Like for a fraction of the cost of the main game, you get like two new parts to the story. Do we need this going on forward? No. If we're going to be very honest, no. Are we going to keep getting this moving on forward? The answer is going to be
Most
more
likely,
than likely yes, because they already proved that it was successful. And I say this in quotation marks
yeah.
with Sword and Shield. And I, to this day, still keep saying those DLCs were, for the first bout, disgustingly weak.
Oh my
And I will
god.
say that, and I will put it on the thing because it's like, listen, you had this grand opportunity to like do something good. You end up just giving us a new portion of the map that is just an entire sandbox, because it literally is what it is. It's a sandbox in the term of the game where it's empty minus a few trainers, because obviously Isles of Armor is the one that they had the more beef going into.
Mhm.
And then after that, the second part of the DLC is basically hollowed. It's just a giant wild area with a little itty bitty segment of like civilization that nothing really happens. Narratively, once the story is done with the DLC portion, there's really nothing else that you can do. Just collect legendary Pokemon, which we've been doing for like forever.
Yeah, so we've also talked about this last time. It's like
Mm,
where is the sustenance of what you're giving me? Where is the thing that's going to want me to keep on coming back? Because if it's just like a catch 'em all type shit, especially now, I've been seeing recently that they've been like basically bringing back a lot of
yeah.
Pokemon from previous generations, and they've been putting it in into Scarlet and Violet. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And then I go and open up Pokemon Go, and it's like, yeah, there's 900, roughly 900 total Pokemon, and now you guys are saying, yeah, we're just gonna start sprinkling them. But I already have 400. I already have about half
Hmm.
already in the game. So like, that's not gonna make me want to go back to get it again. Because Pokemon Go, through its faults, its failures, and it keep on crashing on my goddamn phone
Mm,
every 3 minutes, which is annoying.
it is.
But I can catch them faster than me being in the game. That the game glitches, and then I end up walking into literally 5 Pokemon, one right after another, because there's no difference in the color scheme between the grass and the actual Pokemon itself, because it's so goddamn small. It's like
I would.
you have entered a battle with what? An ant? How who? It's tiny. I can't see the ant.
It's very that. However, you gotta understand, we are not at a 900. We're like about at 1,000 already. We cleared the 1,000 Pokemon threshold. Uh, the thing is, by the DLC's point of view, we're basically getting every other Pokemon back because we already get access to some with the Pokemon Home function being added into the Scarlet and Violet portion of the update that they did earlier on the year, which was also another update that they took their sweet time coming back off from. Uh, but then we also have access to basically almost every Pokemon that they've deprived us when Sword and Shield came up, and we got the giant Brexit, like the Dexit type of thing, and a lot of fans were upset with it. We're basically getting them back. Do I particularly like it? I mean, I'm getting my favorite starter back after like almost 8 years without being able to use it in Superior, and I'm really excited about that. However, the one thing that kind of like, listen, let's talk. You are going on a right direction here. However, might I suggest yet again, if you're going to do a DLC, and the point of this DLC is that we're going to a brand new region. Okay, the Kitakami region is completely separate from Paldea, and if you're gonna, well, this is what mostly a lot of the fans have speculated on, myself included, and I will die on this hill. Kitakami is basically that northeast portion of the Paldea map where you just can't go, and there's like a big chunk of mass. Yeah, that's Kitakami. We all know that that's Kitakami, and it's like, oh, okay, it's right there. One thing that they're doing good, however, I wish they could gone deeper into, is introducing more of the Pokedex variants, not the regional forms, the other ones, the convergent species, because they're doing it with the Sinistea, which is now Pochti, whatever, the little Matcha Pokemon that they're bringing back, which is the convergent species of Sinistea, who is now Matcha, and that's cute, that's great. Just one does not satisfy the big gap because you introduced narratively this concept into this brand new game with the convergence form of Wiglet, and the one for Tentacool, Toadschool, which is really cool, really creative. You could do that with a lot more Pokemon. And that could have been like a focus on the Kitakami, and like you could have introduced a professor that particularly cares about that, and that would be fun. However, it's we're just giving you a bunch of Pokemon that were supposed to be in the game that got cut here, and that's pretty much all we're doing. If you're introducing a DLC and you're branding this DLC as we're going to a brand new region, you could, hey, brand new region, introduce a couple of new Pokemon. Even if the region shares the starters, that way you're technically excused for making brand new starters into this brand new region. But like, no, no, we just share Prigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxley into this region. But you could add more variety into it, kind of like do something with it. Like, for example, if we get some in
Yeah,
Paldea, you can
the
design
like the regional forms that we
effectively.
talked about before, regional or like variants of like certain
Yeah,
specific
yeah. Like for
Pokemon.
example, the Pokedex of Paldea that we got with the Pokemon that are native to Paldea, not Pokemon that we've already known for, like Staraptor, Luxray, or something like that. You could basically add their counterpoints into this Kitakami region and be like, oh yeah, well in the Kitakami region, if you have this, we have that, and like introduce it with that flair, and like coming up with like what, because this game up the level, thank God, from like new Pokemon from like somewhere around the 90s to like about 100 or so, and that's good. That's good. I'm not asking for like the world here. You could have easily gone and added like what 60, 70 brand new Pokemons. Call it a day. You don't even have to do the whole legendary thing because obviously the DLCs are going to focus on a set of legendary Pokemons, and that's about that. However, it's like, baby, I keep saying that the game is empty, and it's because it feels empty, and I'm still gonna be playing it because at this point I'm addicted to the game, and like the franchise is a franchise that I can't really quit. Even though sometimes I want to be like, I'm gonna take a break, but like I see a new Pokemon, I'm like,
I want it.
I must have you. Exactly, it's like I must have you. I
I
must.
want that one.
Ha- exactly, it's like, ooh, pretty. I'm gonna get it, and like
Ooh, shiny.
I exactly, exactly, and I'm also part of the mindset of like that's what I work for. Swipe the card, like I don't like para eso yo trabajo, tarjetazo. It's like I work for this, my money, yeah, and I'm like, cool. But at the same time, it's like, how do I bring into your foresight that it's DLCs are fun, DLCs are good if they're handled well, and also at the same time, we have to understand that the Pokemon Company, they did a very business way of addressing it without really addressing it. And they said that they were having conversations about the way that they are making the games and the speed at which they're making the games. And this was an interview I believe they had about a
Earlier
month
this
or
year?
so ago. Yeah, about a month or
Really?
so ago. Yes, yes, yes. And
Hey,
I believe it was.
maybe one of them saw our previous. I don't even know if it's up. One episode where we were just like, "Hey, honey, it's good, but like,
Take your time.
like, please do like it's." And that's something that like on the term of DLC and kind of like taking a little sidebar. Like I feel like Destiny, especially Destiny 2,
Mm,
is really good with their DLC because it's like here's a whole new DLC, here's a whole new set of quests, a whole new set of characters, and you're in a whole new area. Yes, you can still go back to the old area, but at one point you will level out of this area, and that's where this next area begins. Is right when you level out, where it's like, okay, cool, you're not getting any XP anymore. There's not any good drops in that area anymore because you're at level, let's call it like 30.
mm-hmm,
You're at level 30, but these drops are for like, level 12. You go to another planet, boom, level 16. So it's like nothing's dropping that's good for you there. But here in this whole new area, the drops start at like level 32 because now you can level up to level 50 or some shit like that. And I feel like they do it well. Same thing with the Borderlands. They do their DLCs very well. It actually has a narrative, it has a point, it has its story, it has its side quests. But and also in terms of like storytelling with the whole kind of, and we can touch on this finally, like the Writers
mm-hmm,
Guild strike and the actor strike.
mm-hmm.
It's they can give us good stuff, but at the end of the day, most of them aren't being paid to give us good stuff. Like they're
That
not
is
getting
very
their
true.
proper residual checks. They're not getting this and they're not getting that. So it's like, okay, cool. Like we're waiting. We want sustenance, and like they're like these companies are just pushing shit out. And I actually looked into it that the last time the strike happened, Family Guy had 4 episodes that was ready to drop, but because of the strike, everyone just stopped working, and then Fox went and dropped those 4 episodes. I forget what they are off the top of my head. I think it's like Mixed Stroke, and then there's like 3 other episodes, and they just aired completely out of order to the narrative of that season, and that season was cut short because of the strike. So it's like there are so many things at play that if you do it right, like obviously people that work at Bungie are extremely overworked. Anything working in video games are extremely overworked and
Hmm.
underpaid. But like, I think you guys can get a couple good writers in there to give you a
Yeah, but
story, which
we
is
also
like,
have to like just segueing into what you're saying. We also have to understand that I believe Japan works by different rules and
oh yeah,
standards than
definitely.
what's going on in America. So it's not even like by their own volition or decisions. It's mostly by their production schedule. And listen, I don't want to beat this dead horse again, but like you have the perfect example with the Legend of Zelda, the Breath of the Wild, and the Tears of the Kingdom. Like they took their sweet time, but you know what? They gave us a game that it's endlessly giving us
Enjoying.
fun and entertainment.
Yep.
And like it's sure it's a big sandbox game. And it's like, oh wow, it's a sandbox game. What are you going to do with it? Apparently a lot.
Yeah.
And like people enjoy breaking it. People enjoy like the sandbox aspect of it. Like I for once, I'm not like a big Zelda enjoyer because I did not grow up on Zelda. My
Same here.
first game was Breath of the Wild, and I had a lot of fun with it. I still haven't completed it to this day because whenever I just go in, I take my sweet time, and like I don't even play Zelda in order to like beat the game, fight Ganondorf, and complete the story. I'm mesmerized by the world of Hyrule because I've never been, and I'm like, yeah, this is fun, and like you get the comparison between Zelda and of course one of Nintendo's biggest hitter. It's like part of Nintendo's big three, which is
Mario.
Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon. So it's like we
Oh,
we obviously are not gonna hold.
Mario got 2 new games coming out, and one of them is supposed to be like a new platformer. I'm ready for that one.
Ooh,
I'm ready for that one.
I saw it. I saw it. I saw it. That's really cute. But it's like, for example, we can't really mix and match or like pit against each other Mario and Pokemon because they narratively have nothing that go toe to toe with one another. But also in that same breath, we can't really do the same with Zelda and Pokemon. What we can do, however, is compare the open world segment
Mm.
that they introducing because of course Zelda did it first, and at this point in time and everything that the Nintendo Switch has done, every other game is going to get compared fairly or unfairly or unjustly to what Breath of the Wild did, because essentially Breath of the Wild dropping changed the narrative of video games moving on forward.
Oh
Because it's
yeah.
like now everything is like, oh, this feels like Breath of the Wild. Oh, it's open world. It's like Breath of the Wild, and da 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 whatever. And you're in Nintendo, and like you gotta understand. At one point, Pokemon, and like, baby, to you people, whoever, if they ever listen to us, which I really really doubt that they do, not yet. Maybe when we blow up, fingers
Amen.
crossed,
In the name of
and fingers
Jesus,
crossed.
amen.
In the name of Jesus and Arceus, amen. May the blessed Arceus be with us. Anyways, so the thing is, Zelda did the taking your time thing and actually paid off
Hmm.
because by the time from Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, there is still content in Breath of the Wild for you to do if you take your time. If you don't go like full completionist, not saying anything wrong against completionist runs. If you want to play that game that way, that's the way to play it. Go ahead, have fun. I'm not telling you how to play a game. Lord knows. Um, but like the thing is, they knew that they made a banger and that they could wait for the next banger. And they
Mm.
added new things, new mechanic into this brand new game, which is Tear the Kingdoms, and they say, have at it. And the world is still like, there has been no complaints. The narrative is excellent. Well, might have been a couple of complaints here and there, but like the thing is, people that play it, hours and hours and hours, and just playing around and having fun. At a certain point, if you go 100% completionist in a game of Pokemon, you will run out of things to do. I'm not saying like add a lot of mini side quests, although they would be welcomed, but at the same time, it's like
Yeah, so like
you,
I see where you're going with this. So in terms of like other games, so a thing to kind of like hint, like kind of one versus the other is Gotham Knights and the Spider-Man game, right? So Gotham Knights is
mm,
based off of Nightwing, Red Hood, Robin, which is Tim Drake, and Batgirl, and they're trying to like go around the city, protect the city, right, and solve the crime of Batman's death and like what happened and what was like one thing that led to another, right? And then you have the Spider-Man game. I played the Miles Morales, not the Peter Parker that had some Miles Morales, now the solely Miles Morales one. But I did pre-order the new one, so that comes out. That's all I'm streaming. Like from right now, I'm streaming all classic games on my YouTube and Twitch until that
I'm
Spider-Man
enjoying
games
watching
comes
you
out.
play Jack Pro. I'm
Um,
enjoying you play the Jack and Daxter games. Like they're hitting me right
it's
on the
yes,
nostalgia, and I
thank
just gotta
you.
give you a props. Like they're making me really want to go into my PlayStation Store and buy the DLC, like the whole 3 game like
Four
collector, whatever.
games,
Like
because the
because it's like,
racing
oh
game.
my god, I miss them so bad. I miss them so bad. But at the same time, it's like,
But again, not to get like too distracted and go down memory lane, which we
right,
can
right,
definitely
right, right.
do in a little bit. But the Spider-Man game and the aspect of the Gotham Knights game are basically the same games. You're going around stopping petty crimes, stopping slightly bigger crimes, and then you have your main missions that are super important. And then you have, I think, like side quests. I think in total, I think it's like 14 side quests. Then you have the petty crimes, which I think in total is roughly 14, but each of those 14 have like 3 side objectives within them. And for you to 100% completion it, you have to get all of these side objectives. You don't have to get them all in one go, but you do have to get them throughout playing it. And it gets crazy. But Gotham Knights, same thing. You have your main crimes, your main missions, your side missions. You have your collectibles as well. But the Miles Morales game has less. But I found so much more enjoyment in that one than I did in Gotham Knights. In Gotham Knights, so they have like this arena where like you can go anywhere from 1 to 4 players, and you can just like dog walk these arenas. It's just like it's like an endless run. I think it's like 4 rooms. Each room has like anywhere from 1 to 5 waves of enemies, and you gotta do shit, and then boom, you're done. But there's, to me, less enjoyment in that than there is in Spider-Man just swinging around and doing the same shit, but without the difference of the
Definitely.
characters. Like, I have different skins. All the characters have different skins. You can customize it via color, but apples to apples, the Spider-Man game is better. Like, without hesitation, without comparison. And then again, you go, like, the open world concept, like you said again. It's good, but it could have been better. And don't want to beat the dead horse at this point in time, but we've talked about it before. And if the production studio is realizing, hey, we've kind of messed up a little bit, we've been pumping this out too much. All right, Assassin's
Mm-hmm.
Creed, like pump your brakes and take your time, because when you do that, it gives us the time to okay, cool, good, bad, what would we fix, and then we go from there. Like Crash 4, right? The one that they just did called It's About Time, where
Mm-hmm.
you have the you already have double jump from the beginning, but you don't have like the special masks, right? Which is um, dimension shift, gravity shift. There's dark matter one, and then I forget what the fourth one is. And I love completionist games. Like I love that shit. That is my shit. But at some point, I can't do that with this game because the boxes are hidden in the most randomest spots. You're trying to get that last box, but you can't find it anywhere. You go and you go to YouTube, and it's like, hey, guys, it's literally in this secret hidden corner that you never would have guessed to check here. And I'm like, why? Like that.
All right, Sage Squad. Those not a part of the Sage Squad, but you still seeing this message. It's important, all right? I know you get tired playing the game, especially on Unite. I always say get high off of potions, all right? Special item right there. Give you a little bit more life. Give you a little bit more energy, right? Damn, close combat into this W right here, all right? That's what I'm talking about. Get the W with W. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Use my code. It's going to pop up somewhere. Not sure where. But you're going to use that code, get 10% off your next order. The caffeine, all right? And it's not just that alone. It also comes with great vitamins on the inside. So if you do want to use this as pre-workout, because we know you like going to the gym. Don't you sit here and lie, okay? Me as a Lucario main, I know we like to fight. That means we gotta stay ready. You know, we gotta pump that iron. You know what I'm saying? Purchase WD. Code Sage EJ.
That's annoying.
Okay.
So then to me, I have to shift from completing the game, from like completionist game, grabbing every single thing, every little everything, to just beat the game. But Pokemon, like, there's more need the excitement. But to me, one thing that, and I will bring this up because it is such an annoyance, and it makes me stop playing the game for a while, is literally, it's the lag in between areas where you then run into the same enemy 5 times within like a 7-minute span, and you're like, I just want to get to the next area. But like, you don't want to, because you're exploring.
Mm-hmm.
But yet I'm still coming across enemies, the same exact thing. I can't see the difference between the grass type, or the bug. I can't see it because there's no thing. But when you look at the Zelda games, the last 2, they are phenomenal. They are beautiful. It's so rich in detail. So if they can do it, why can't Game Freak do it? What are they doing differently that Game Freak is not doing? As a matter of fact, like you thank you for bringing it up, Jack and Dexter. Jack and Dexter was the first open world game for the P2. And they did something better. You can see the difference between the grass, the sand, the rock, the lava rocks that are slightly cooled. Like, you can see the difference. So why roughly 20 years later, I can't see the difference in the grass when I'm playing on my 55-inch TV, and I can't see the difference?
He got money. He got 55 inches on the TV. Oh.
Cabron, it was $200.
Whatever, but
it was $200. Don't think I spend like $1,000 on the TV. It was $200.
Black Friday.
I know how to shop around. Grandma ain't raised no idiot that spends thousands of dollars. She raised cheapo. We shop in clearance, okay?
We shop in clearance. Anyways, but the thing is, now that you said that, is a really good point. But and also, I want to say valid type of observation is, if you go by that logic and like, oh my god, all the graphics and whatever, at a certain point you're gonna run out of nitpicks. I just want more. If I have to say padding, it's okay, fine, it's padding. But at the same time, it's like variety on the gameplay so that it doesn't really feel as repetitive as all the time. Because, like, okay, listen. You okay? Okay, sorry. Like, if you go, like, by the same aspect, it's like, okay, so we battle, and we move, and we traverse the map, and then we battle. There's no mini games. There's no like added like one little concept or anything else. And it's like, listen, I believe it was Carlos who got rid of like the minigame experience to a point, because like there was like we're gonna take pictures of the Pokemon in the ambience and whatnot. It's like, Okay. That's fine, I guess. But contest was a really fun thing to do, and like, sure, the contest is more for like the girly pops of the gamers. Um, but you know what would have been a good type of thing? Mini games involving like the Pokemon, like for example, the Pokemon athlete department type of thing, where in Soul
Juju,
Silver and Heart
give
Gold.
me just 1 second. This whole time, I just realized I have Lysol wipes right there. The
You have
whole
Lysol?
time, Lysol wipes. So I'm like,
Oh,
man, that's the most Latino thing. I have cleaning products in plain view of my camera.
it's part of it's part of the culture. It's part of the experience.
Oh,
Anyways,
tell me about it.
it's so. Anyways, I think I have Vicks Vaporub somewhere around my room. I don't know where, but it's somewhere. Anyways, so the thing is like no mini games, no nothing like that, and like that could have been like okay, because you want to know what the mini game is that we got here? We get to take tests in school.
I don't want. Oh yeah, that was stupid. That was stupid. I did not. Well, so okay. If I were to hand this game to either my girlfriend or her little sister, and I say, hey, go to the school first. You will see on the map, go to the school, catch any Pokemon on the way to the school, and do the entirety of the school first. And then you can go and play around. Like, yeah, like they play video games, but they're not like you, me, Sage. Like, they're not more seasoned veterans in the gaming space. So if I say, hey, this is how I'm telling you to play the game. You go and you go this way. After that, continue collecting Pokemon and go and do the Titans one at a time. Then go and do the gyms. Because sometimes, I forget which, I think it's a fairy gym. I hated that gym. It took me forever to get to that gym. But then I, like immediately after I beat that gym, I then found the Titan that lets me crawl up walls. I was like, I could have
Oh,
used
you
you.
mean the Team Star guy? Yeah.
No, not Team Star. The Titans were the only ones that gave you the special
No,
food.
the Team Star is the one with the fairy.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm a
the
smack
fairy
you.
type Team Star. Okay,
But
you have
not the
Fire
point.
Star, Fighting Team Star, Dark Team Star, Poison Team Star, and Fairy Team Star, and then you got Flying Titan, Ground Titan, Dragon Titan, Rock Titan, and Steel
It
Titan.
was I think it was the Rock.
The Dragon Titan lets you crawl.
That's a Titan. I was like, damn, I could have used you to crawl up this big ass mountain to get to the top so I could battle this gym leader. I forget what it was. It was something that was like weak. I literally just used my starter the entire time. I was like, "For Coco, do daddy proud, fire type blast,
Do that in fact.
fire
Exactly.
type blast, fire type
One of the
blast."
things,
I win. Another one.
the the one thing that I did, because I discovered this very late. I'm sorry if it makes me sound like a noob or whatever, but I can make another profile in my Switch and play the game as a brand new game. I'm like, oh, this is great. So I made a new profile on my Switch and I went into Scarlet and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play an entirely new playthrough. And then I remembered that there was this bug slash glitch in the game that technically from the tutorial stage, once like Nemona asks you to meet her by the gate so she can fight you for the first time and show you what the terrestrialized phenomenon is for the first time,
Uh-huh.
as you're exploring Los Platos, which is I love it. Listen, Paldea is the one game that I'm like I love just looking at the name because like I know for a fact that they're saying it in like a very Americanized play. Oh, we're going to Los Platos, but like us Spanish speakers, it's like Los Platos. We're going to Plato. Let's go. Let's go to the plate. Anyways,
Hold on, wait. Before
there,
we continue, is there a Pokemon that takes place in Brazil, like a game that takes place in Brazil?
not yet. Not
Mira,
yet. We have.
they should, because I want to see their take on like Rio de Janeiro, BH, São Paulo. Like I want to see their takes on what they're gonna call that.
Indeed.
Are you gonna have a Pokemon statue of Arceus just standing there, be like, here I am on his like hind legs? Yo, that shit would be to me.
Like
To
the,
me, I find
like
that
the
funny.
Janeiro.
Like
But like the thing is,
there's Rio de Janeiro, and then Arceus is just like, here I am. People are like, wait, you know what Arceus looks like?
honestly, that would be so cool. We've had a lot of regions of Japan with Kanto, Johto, and Sinnoh. Uh, we have France with Kalos. We have the USA with Unova. Just New York. Just New York. Nothing else on the USA. Just New York. Yes, Unova is based on New York.
Not Texas or California. Literally the
No, 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 no,
two
no.
biggest
Just
states.
New York. Just New York.
Shit,
Okay,
they need to do
Unova.
that again, but now include New England because like when you include all of New
They
England,
did.
Massachusetts. Oh, they did.
They
Okay.
did with Pokemon Black and White 2. That entire new part of the map is basically saying New Jersey. Anyways,
Oh, whoa. New Jersey is not. No, I said New England, not New Jersey. New England is Maine, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island.
oh well, they haven't. Well, they haven't. But anyways, like
Ah,
the
they should though.
Pokemon Black and White 2, Black and White 2 is just based on New York, which is so funny to me. It's like they got the USA, but just New York. What? And then we've had England, of course, with Sword and Shield, and now Spain. Like the only time that we've moved from the Europe or Asia just to go to US, but North America and then back. If and Hawaii with Sun and Moon, which is obviously Hawaii. Anyways, after that, we haven't
I
really.
love how
But
you
if
say
they,
Hawaii like you're actually from Hawaii and not from America. I like it. Cause
oh,
some no, cause some
that's you learn.
yeah no, cause that like some of my mutuals call Hawaii uh, Hawaii. Where like
Hmm.
me, I'm just so ingrained because I was born and raised in America. It's like Hawaii, but you're like nah, Hawaii, and I'm like okay,
No,
all right for the
it's
culture. Okay, I see you.
they're cousins, okay? They're cousins, and I gotta respect because like Puerto Rico is an island, they're island too, and like we rep hard. Anyway, so we have Hawaii, and then what was the other one? Um, no, we really haven't gone anywhere else. No, no, no.
Game Freak,
Because
if you're
like,
still doing Pokemon games in the future,
you know,
making Brazil, because I would love to see how they
listen,
because Spain is a little bit yeah, Spain is a little bit smaller than Brazil, but you know what? You have some great monuments in Brazil, the Amazon rainforest, which would be perfect
yeah,
because then you have all like I hate to say it, but that's free reign for all the like the monkey Pokemons, for some of the like bird and insects. That right there,
that
and
that is
then
that is
and
still
then you
pretty
show us the
well.
favela for like all of 10 seconds. It's like the smallest portion of the map because you didn't want to give it any time of day. And then you're like, Mira, and then just have and then you have the bull. Bring back the black bull. Oh my yes, that
Taurus?
yeah, Taurus. Bring back Taurus and put him in the favela, and that's the only Pokemon you will ever find in the favela because he's ready to fight and throw hands. He's like, why you come around my neighborhood? Boom.
I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't do like a Matador Pokemon like for Tauros. Like I know that Matadors are not necessarily like the most like friendly or whatever because like they're kind of being looked down on, and especially in Spain and whatnot. But like at the same time, like that would have been really cool
It
with
would
Taurus
have.
being like a fighting type that has like ooh that gets my blood pressure up. They have distinct forms that are not breedable, and you have to find them in the wild with fire style and water style. And it's like,
I'm sorry, say that they're not breedable. Who's not breedable?
no, like you can't really breed for that form. You have to get them in the wild. And it's like red toros and blue toros. They're literally black with like red accents, and it's a firefighting. And then there's one that it's like black with blue accents, and it's water fighting. I know. I know. I know. I know. I know. I know. You don't even have to say it. I just know. But like
How? Like, why? Never mind. My patience is gone. Just
it would have been really cool to see like a flying type with like red feathers that uses it like a cape, like kind of like the matador thing, and go like ole. That would have been really cool, really cool. Um, but speaking of Paldea and like the playthrough that I was going through, there's a specific ledge over by the northwestern point of the map
Mm-hmm.
where you can see the evolved form of Fletchinder and
Mm-hmm.
like Riolus and whatnot. If you can lock on to one of them as they go closer to you to the ledge and you start a battle with them, you can jump the ledge without having Koraidon and basically unlock the entirety of the Paldea map. And I did that.
Hold on, how do I do
And I
that?
to like do the closing arguments and like statements because to wrap it up basically at this
Yeah.
point, it's like if you get the DLC, have fun. A lot of
Yeah.
Pokemons that haven't been seen are doing a comeback, and we love that. Just do I wish they had more substance going in? Yeah,
Yes.
but at the same time, we still don't. I haven't played it yet. Nobody has played it yet. Just like a few people with the data mines and like leakers and whatnot. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can. We are still on the verge of like we could be wrong, and this DLC will narratively be a lot more cohesive and whatnot because we do understand that we're going to be visiting the new academy and there's new characters coming in and we have that interactions going on. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. Am I hoping for like a lot out of it? If I'm gonna be honest, I'm going for like 25-75. 25 maybe I'll be like, yeah, this was fun. 75 is just me going through the motions
Yeah.
because the DLC that I'm going to be playing on it is going to be on my main playthrough with where like my big hitter Pokemons are, but Pokemons that help me pass the game and all that stuff. I'm talking my level 100 Quaquaval, my level 100 Arboliva, my level 100 Annihilate, Mabostiff, everybody else that I genuinely passed the game with. So it's like I know for a fact that I was just going to be like, oh, press button, delete opponent. But at the same time, I kind of do want to see what they have in the terms of like older Pokemon coming in. Are they going to get new perks? And narrative wise, am I going to fall in love with the characters presented in this game? Because character wise, Paldea was strong. I did enjoy a lot of the characters introduced here. The Ghost type gym leader, love her. Rhyme, love her.
My boy,
Uh,
you mean Missy Elliott?
I love
Because
her. She
that
was
that
so
that that was
fun.
Missy Elliott. You
That was
I
Missy
saw. I was
Elliott, and I
like,
love it. The one gym leader that it really threw me off how much beef I had with this gym leader was Tulip, the psychic type gym leader. I was like, oh,
oh, it was
mostly
the psychic type gym that I was talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoop the
mostly
ass.
because mostly because and here's a very big key because at the first playthrough it did not click. Pokemons that you've caught before acquiring a certain number of badges
Do not
will
listen to
still
you.
no will still obey you if you go over the level cap.
So okay, so to clarify
If you
that, because I had that
yeah
happen to me, I've caught in Pokemon that were, I want to say, 10 levels above my like level cap. So my level cap was
okay
25. I caught the Pokemon at 40. They did not listen
not
to me.
above not above if you catch them at the level cap that you have either 25 or lower and you trade them over the level cap they'll still obey you
Not for me.
because
My Foy Coco
yes they will.
stopped. My Foy Coco stopped listening to me at like 30 something before I increased the level cap.
Babe, I'm telling you that before I even finished the tutorial my Pokemons were level 60 and still obeying me.
Oh, you didn't do any gyms.
I didn't do any gyms when my second playthrough. In my
Neither. I
first
gotta do that
playthrough,
shit too.
like in my first playthrough, I was going it by the book because I'm an old Pokemon trainer. Like I'm of the school and volition of mind. Like, oh, I have to have certain number of badges before I increase the level of my Pokemons. So when I was swinging against Tulip, my Pokemons were as like just the level requirement that her gym was, and I was getting floored before I even got to see her ace Pokemon, and it threw me off because I'm so used to just and like beating them off to the side. It's like okay, cool. And I genuinely enjoyed myself in that gym batch because I was like, you know what? This girl is running me my money. And I want to catch her fate so bad. So it
That
got
that
to the
was me
point
with
where
the
I'm like,
water type. That was me with the water type gym. Not gonna lie.
yeah. And it's like homegirl with the pretty hair and whatnot. We swinging. We 1-800 on site. So when I beat her, that made off my chest. I was like, yes. And then at the end of the main playthrough where you get to like the little post game where you have to see if their gym are still up to par as given to you by the worst freaking champion there ever is, La Primera. Um,
Yeah.
if you have
Hold on. La Primera. Really? That's her name. La Primera. You couldn't have
her
come up
name
with
is
something.
her name is Gita. Her name is Hindi in terms, I believe. Is Gita is Geeta.
Okay, but like La
La
Primera,
Primera is just her
you
title.
yeah, but like I don't care. You couldn't have given me something a little bit more, shall I say, authentic, instead of
No, I'm she's the
she's
alpha
the
and the omega and
first. Oh
everything
my
in
god.
between. She's the alpha, the omega, and everything in between. No, because like she's just the first. She's just the first champion. She is the CEO of the Pokemon League Association and whatever. I'm over here like
Bet
I
I
beat you and I didn't swap a single Pokemon. What are you talking about?
oh no I swapped Pokemons, but like everyone still had good health. I swapped in between like kicking. So I think hold on. No, I did her in one go.
Yeah,
I did her in one go.
yeah.
Pendejo. Just because you're older. Just because you're older. I'm the first. Mean if you're the first, you should be putting up some difficulty. The most difficulty I had was against the water type, not the ice type, not the ghost type. Every gym I battled twice, except for the bug, the psychic, grass. Like those three were just like one and done. Everything else I did twice. But I get to the elite four. The elite four. The normal type. The normal type whipped my ass, but he had no character to him. So, va tomar, right?
Larry?
And Larry had no whatever. Deixa pra lá. I get there. Who's there? One of the teachers. I'm like, all right, cool, bet. It's I think the art teacher. All right, cool, bet. I whoop his ass. I was like, damn. I only lost like 3 Pokemon. Shit, revive. Let's go. And then I get to Larry. Larry gave me no struggle. I was like, why here you give me no struggle, but out in the real world, I was getting my ass whooped. And then I get
But
to
out in the
her.
real world, you were swinging fists.
Yeah, like this is bullshit. And then I get to her and I'm like, all right, cool, bet. Wait, I did this all in one go with just using some revives and some heals. Either A, I'm a god, or B, y'all ain't shit.
It's B. It's B. It's B. It's literally B. It's literally B. Like, listen, at this point, even in the game, the Terra raids, the 7-star Terra raids,
Haven't
are
touched it.
giving me more trouble than the same gyms. I'm like, damn. Oof, how do I say that? You kind of suck, Buki. But like at the same time, it's like when Gita tells us to like go and re-challenge all the gym leaders. I have personal beef. I left Tulip for the end. I was like, so we meet again, woman. And
I
like
went to
when
the water type first. I was like, nah. You gonna run me now.
I literally did them.
Now.
I literally did them in like reverse order, and I left because I had a lot of fun. Rhyme second to last, and then the last was Tulip. But I took the ice type gym first because, like, even when I did it in the first time, I was just like, "What a chew," and he's out. I'm like, all right, cool, bye. Like, bye. You disgust me. Ew. It's like, never mind. So Tulip is like, so what's up, Bookie? So you want to run fade? So we gonna run fade? Like, what's good? I literally enjoyed her character. She didn't do anything. Narrative wise, story wise, she just like, I'm pretty. I make makeups, and I have like a lot of. I have a lot of money. I don't really need to be doing this, but I like psychic types, so we're doing this. It's like, in my mind, I had an entire narrative. It was like, we fight.
We meet again. I have
we
the high
meet.
ground.
Exactly, it's like we meet yet again. So it's like hopefully this is, and I know that I have a point because we literally did a whole 180. Um,
Hey,
I am
it's not an
expecting,
episode if there's no like sidebars and some side quests
indeed,
because
indeed,
that's
indeed.
life, right? It's these video
Yeah,
games. It's there's the main quest, but like no, Mita, there's some side quests. We got to complete some shit. We got to do
there's a
some.
main quest, a side quest, and Johnny quest. Anyways,
Um, but no, like the point that you're getting across is like I just want something that's going to entertain me and that it's not going to be
hmm
boring, right? It's not going to be like again. So like if it's a whole new area, my only thing is don't don't try and give me a condensed version of a game in this new DLC, right? Don't give me whole new gym leaders. Don't give me whole new Elite Four, new champion that I have to beat and then do it all over again. That's kind of stupid to give as a DLC. It's just give me a whole new game at that point, which is sad for me to say because I've said it before. Like, actually, like let the shit marinate, let it like
yeah.
let the season sink in, and then actually let it cook and give us the final product. But if it's like, hey, DLC, new area, new Nurse Joy, new everything, and here's a new school too, and you're like, why?
I just want the characters to have substance. I don't want them to just feel empty. Because if we're gonna have that, at least like make the characters enjoyable, make the characters like mean something. And there's also this rumor slash undertoning hint that the main big four characters from the Indigo Disc, which are in itself like their own condensed Pokemon League and whatnot for the Blueberry Academy, which if that's one of the things that you were like fearing, I'm afraid to tell you that's kind of what's going to happen. Um, there's underlying rumor, and this is gonna be like the last point I'm gonna make before we wrap it up. It's like that the characters there are some way, shape, or form linked to Unova, and that we might have a Unova remake in the mist. And I'm over here like, listen, we already know of one who's gonna be like the dragon trainer, the kid with the white hair. He literally has an evolved form of Duraludon, which is a brand new Pokemon from Galar that got introduced just a generation before. That's cool for me. Bringing new evolutions to older Pokemon. Yes. Instead of forms, instead of like convergent forms, even though convergence forms are really cool, giving new evolutions to older Pokemon is cool. That's how we got Roserade. That's how we got Ambipom. That's how we got Gliscor. That's how we got Weavile. You know what I mean? Like iconic Pokemons from Generation 4 are literally past Pokemon given a new form, new evolution, have fun. Yes. He's hinted at being like linked to Drayden, which is the gym leader daddy from Unova. Hey, Drayden, with the big beard and whatnot. And the sorry, sorry. Anyways, you gave me a bombastic side eye, and I immediately stopped. Anyways, so
Because I know where you could go, and I'm like, I
so
don't know.
I bit my tongue. I bit my tongue. Just know that, like he.
Hold on. This part I know I'm gonna cut out, but like Mita, I know someone's a little bit breedable and submissive, but like no need to go out your way to be like, so daddy, like that, daddy, like
I'm just I'm just gonna say
daddy.
I'm just gonna say, Drayden, I'm a big fan. Love your body of work. Big fan of the beard. Yes, just big fan of the beard. It's weird and awkward to draw, but a big fan of the beard. Just yeah, keep it up, keep it up. And if the little child is part of your lineage, you have a brother. That's it. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
So
But
so give us some good content, some relatively good story writing, and don't mess it up because
exactly.
it's very, and I've said this before. It could be something great, but it's the fact that it's you're tarnishing a legacy, right? You could either have something continue to grow, but if you give us bad stuff over and over and over again, eventually it's gonna go down. And the greatest thing I can point to is Assassin's Creed, right?
Mm.
Assassin's Creed, the first couple of games, you're like, yo, this shit is awesome. But then after a while, you realize it's the same thing, wash, rinse, repeat, and there's like the story is what makes it different. It's the main character
Hmm.
and the story around the main character. But if that is extremely basic, you are going to tarnish the name and the legacy of Pokemon, right? I know I got my girl and her sisters into Pokemon Go, but it's like, yeah, that's something simple and basic. It's for like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I just want to have something to do. Oh, like, oh, there's still a community out there that still plays this. Okay, cool. Oh, we can do remote raids with people across the world. That shit's dope. It's dope. But
Honestly, at this point, they can even do like Pokemon spin-offs, like those Pokemon
yeah,
spin-off games of the DS and the Wii before it. They were so cute. Like I I enjoyed Pokemon Park, Poke Park 1 and 2. Love them, and they're like a little cute story where you're Pikachu. That's it. You're Pikachu, and then in the second one, you had the option of switching between Pikachu, Snivy, Tepig, and Oshawott. And would just go around the parks playing mini games, befriending other Pokemon, battling them and whatnot, and it felt really cool because it's like, oh, this is very immersive, and I know because I spent hours playing those games. um there's this cool spin-off, and it's one of the, by the fans choice of words, kind of like the weakest spin-off, but art wise and everything wise, it's so cool, and I still rep it to this day. Pokemon Conquest, which is basically Pokemon slash Fire Emblem mixed together, and it is great. It's a turn-based RPG and whatnot. It's the only one that I've ever played like that, and it's like I love it. I just enjoy it thoroughly. Um, there's spin-offs such as Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. A new one would be fun. Pokemon Ranger. I don't know how they're gonna do it with like the touchscreen of the Switch, because that's what back when the DS had like the stylus function. You could, loop de loop and have fun. Uh, but yeah, there's a bunch of new Pokemon spin-off that you can do, because like I believe that if they're going by spin-off, and if we're gonna be very honest with you, the Pokemon Snap, I know that it was supposed to be like this revival piece for like the Pokemon Snap from way back when. I This is one of the only games that I will honestly say I purchased on accident, because I was like, oh, I never played the original. Let me just see what it's going to be about. And I saw what the original was all about, and then I started seeing what this game was about, and then I started seeing like the demos and like the people and like the videos that were coming up, and I was like, ooh, this ain't for me. So I forgot to cancel the order. And next thing you know, it's like, what is my Switch downloading? What? And it's like, it's the game, and I'm like, yikes. How do I tell you I don't want you at this point? But
damn.
that's pretty much it that I have on the store for it all. I guess that's pretty much all the points that I got. Like in recap, it's just hope the DLC has a little more substance on the characters. Um, I'm willing to give it a try because that's all that I'm always going to give it. I was like, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, and then just hope the $30 that I spent on the DLC are not just like
Wasted.